What's up, guys? JJ Fade 23. By the way, I'm not a financial advisor, but I do like to make videos. And I'm going to just make a bunch of recaps lately just because I like it. I feel like a lot of traders make videos and do this, but they really don't give the goods of what they're doing. I don't know. It's just magic, right? They don't really want to spill the beans of what they're really doing to make money. I don't know. That's what I just feel like. I feel like I've watched many videos over the years, and none were really that helpful. But anyway, so guys, I'm going to take you through again, like yesterday's video, exactly what we do in the morning. We have our trade ideas scan, right? Popping off. What's going on? The big, I'm looking at any stocks over 50%, right? First, I take a quick glance at the charts, and then I narrow it down to the ones that look best. And then I ultimately, like I showed you yesterday, will go through my red flag criteria, right? I will, it happens every time. I'll go through my red flag criteria, and I will just mark out the red flags. Staff, I like staff. You have nano float. I don't usually like to trade stuff under $1 million float, high in size, but I said, you know what? I also don't like merger deals, but I said, this thing has pretty good gap stats, pretty good pivots, and it had a head and shoulders pattern on the daily. I said, if this spikes max extension into lower high position to give me a good trade, good risk reward, I'll try it, which it didn't do. It just dumped off the open, so I left it. Next, we had AIFF, right? AIFF, almost 80% gap stats. That means 4 out of 5 times this thing gaps up, it closes below the open. I love that. All right, it doesn't have a big average spike. I like that. Average phase bigger than the average spike. I like that. The gap percent was over 100%. I love that. High inside was a red flag, but I don't really mind just that. It was on SSR. That's one reason why I was thinking about not trading it. Guys, I hate SSR. I hate SSR. I just don't like it. A lot of times stock can be finicky on SSR, and you can't just smash the bid. I just don't really love it. So I was like, you know what? I'm only going to trade this if it does exactly what I want to see, right? It has to do exactly what I want to see, and I'll tell you what that is. All right. Guys, as always, we take a look. We go back. Now we're onto the charts. We take a look. Just like I said yesterday, guys, what do you see? Clues, right? Pop, close halfway down. Spike, close less than halfway down. Spike, close red. Spike, close red. Spike, closed all the way down. Do you see what I'm saying? History repeats itself, you guys. Look at all these candles and look what this did, right? This looks just like all of these pretty much, I mean, this one even closed weaker, literally almost end of day best cover, but for the most part, same exact thing that all of these do. So now, okay, I like that. You know what I'm thinking? Guys, I like the stock that it does a lot of popping and feeling. It has good gap stats. So let me start looking at my pivots. What do we got here? All right, so when the stock is open right here, all right, I'm looking. Okay, we got pivots right here. Near $5. We got pivot, 2 pivots right here. Right? We got, now I love recent pivots, you guys. Look at this. This is a recent pivot at 580. Not only is it recent, look, when it got here, when it gapped up to here last time, there was so much supply, it just melted instantly. It couldn't even spike. Now, I got that in my head. I'm saying, okay, 580. 580 is the most recent pivot. Not only that, it just melted from there when it got there last time. So, guys, hold on. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, yeah, look, guys, ready? So, this is what I mean. One sec, you guys. So, guys, I said in the room, AIF, if it goes to 580 pivot, I know it's on SSR, but other than that, I'm good. Only trigger at key level 580. All right? So now, guys, the stock. Intraday, what are we doing? Now I'm going to show you what I'm looking for. I usually have pre-market data on the 1-minute chart so I can see the pre-market. So we're looking. So I know, guys, now, right? We're just grinding. Now, yes, there's pivots here and there's pivots here. But my favorite pivot is 580. So I want to get a max extension into 580, guys. Now, look, what I call a max extension, guys, is anything over 25%. So we opened right here. The stock starts to spike into these pivots. There's no trigger here. See this? First of all, it's only a 15% spike when it hits this pivot. It pulls a little, closes. Then it rips way over this pivot. So no trigger or max extension at my next pivot. But the one I'm really wanting is the 580 pivot. And now, guys, look at this. Now we're at 27%. Right up into that pivot. Really close to the pivot. So once it goes up into that pivot, I see it now starting to sit here, starting to stall out right here. I take one starter with a limit order on the ask. Now, so I'm in half size with a wider stop over the pivot. Now I'm waiting for a trigger to add. Now, here we go, guys. First, we're flagging right here, okay? This is a flag. The stock is flagging, right? And we have a high set right here. Now I'm in the trade already with a little bit of a wider stop over the pivot, so I can give it some room until I get a good trigger to add. Now watch, guys, right? So I'll show you, look. As you see, I'm saying, I'm in the stock max extends. I wait, just like I said, right here, you can see I took a limit order right here on the ask. I took a limit order on the ask right there, right here. And then I'm waiting for the trigger. When this spikes right here, it does a fake breakout over the highs. Plus, this, I think I had this more like this. We have a flag. It's a failed flag break because the stock is sucking in longs. A flag breaks to the upside and fails. So we have a failed flag break and a fake breakout and almost a penny touch to that pivot. So as soon as I saw that, as you can see, I added to my short. As soon as we went over that high, touched that pivot and started to come back down, right here, I added to my position full size, and now I put my stop just over the pivot. And that's another thing, guys, by the way. Yes, the trigger candle, you can use the trigger candle, but I still like to have my stop a little over the pivot, even if I get a really good trigger. So in this case, I had my stop at 605 because I don't stop, because a little bit over that pivot is like 590, and I don't stop out right in front of whole dollars. Either way, it doesn't matter because now my average was like right around 548, I think it was. And then the thing just starts to unwind. And guys, like I was talking about yesterday, if you miss the trigger entries, what do you want to see? The next best entry is a lower high position short on 50% or more volume reduction. So as it starts to sell off now and you know the top is set, now you're looking, it didn't actually do perfect. It only went to the 50 fib. But the reason why I'd be looking for up here, anywhere up here on 50% volume reduction to either take the entry for the first time if you weren't already in it. As you can see, the run up, guys, was 3.4 million up here, right? And now this volume, that was the biggest volume on the run up, 3.4. And if you go like this was down to 1.6, so about 50% reduction. Now, it would have been perfect. It went up to here, but it didn't. The reason why it bounced off the 50 fib, because we also had this daily pivot here too. So there was a daily pivot, plus the low of all this consolidation right here, plus the 50 fib. There's a lot of confluence. It couldn't spike to the lower high position, but it didn't matter to me because I was already in it. So I was just scaling out on the way down, scaling out. And this one did end up having end of day best cover pretty much. Yeah, end of day best cover. So I didn't stay in this to the end of the day because I had to get off my desk today, go to do a flip, and I knew I was going to probably be back in time, so I just scaled out some here, scaled out some down here, called it a day, near the 1 minute 200. But, a lot of traders in the room held it to the end of the day, and that's great. But that's the reasons for the trade. What I'm looking at, the other thing, guys, I'm watching, when it starts to spike right here, look at this. I'm watching the volume. Guys, that's a lot of volume. 3 to 4 million shares on 1 minute candles is a lot. You don't want to be short in that. Can I show you one thing? Staff didn't spike at all, but if it did, I would have shorted the piss out of it. Why? Because look. Guys, look at Staff's volume. 200,000. If this thing spiked, I want to show you real quick how I would have traded Staff. Look. Setting up like a gap and crap, right? It had a pivot here, which is really the one that it failed. But if you notice this, guys, look at this. Here's a pivot, a head, and a right shoulder, which I think is where it failed in pre-market. That's why. You had a nice clear pivot, left shoulder, head, right shoulder at 465. So now look. Yeah, see, it ended up popping up and failing 465 right here. So now I know they already failed a pivot. So now the risk reward sucks down here. But I will go like this. Okay, we already rejected a daily level, so let me put my fibs on, see if we can get a lower high spike. Swing high to swing low. Open spike up to here. Anywhere up here would have been awesome. Risk off this, especially on this low volume, 200, 500,000, 600,000. I love to see spikes on real low volume, they have a high chance of fail. So you got to be extra careful shorting when a stock pushing 3, 4, 5 million shares volume off the open. That's that can keep pushing a little bit. So this didn't pop, and I didn't short it way down here. It's too far off the high. It was above this pivot until it fell below. I mean, you could have shorted this bounce right here, risking off this high, knowing you have a pivot here. But honestly, it's so far off the pre-market high. I just don't trade like that. I always want to be risking off the last true place it failed on lower high setups, or risking off the pivot that I get the trigger at. If we get a trigger right here like this, you get a trend break right here, right? You get a trend break trigger right at this pivot. It falls below. That's a short. And also, I would want to be now risking off this level unless we had another great daily level. Like if we had another great daily level, let's say maybe right here, at least at the 50 fib, that I could see it pop up on low volume, give me a trigger right there, short with my stop rate above. But if there's no other daily levels in between where the stock is to this daily level that it rejected, then I need lower high so I can risk off that true high. Or else I'm just going to be having my stop at some random place, and that's not how I trade. I don't care if I miss a million of these. Doesn't matter. You don't have to trade every fucking thing, every trade there is, you know? So that's pretty much it. Guys, I know that I hate people always say, oh, thumbs up. I really, guys, I make a lot of videos. I don't have a lot of subscribers. I don't get a lot of thumbs up. So if you like the video, please just give me a thumbs up. I feel like I'm wasting my life away doing this, but I really do want people to have better ways to learn how to trade and clearer concepts to follow. I don't know. Maybe I'm just stupid. I don't know, but it does bring me joy. But it kind of feels like a waste of time sometimes. That's why I take breaks in between doing it. I don't know how some people have so many followers and so many subscribers, but I definitely jelly. Anyway, all right. Thanks, guys.